I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm not even supposed to be here today! Oh, fuck you!
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal. Remember, I'll
Anybody
drive.
to drive?
Get in the car.
Fucking shit! Fuck me in the fucking ass! Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt!
Hey, I am here with a brand new rant from Don G. Corleone, and that's going to be for 1999's Inspector Motherfucking Gadget. The piece of shit that wrecked Matthew Broderick's fucking career. The worst thing is, this got more money than 1999's Election. Yeah, the comedy from Alexander Pierce. That unfortunately bombed to fucking this. Oh, this got more money than Rocky and Bullwinkle. This got more money than Dudley Do-Right, which were better cartoon film adaptations of this shit. Like, God, like, what is even the plot is? Well, this is apparently supposed to be an origin of the cartoon. Yeah, shitty way how it all started. If this is how it all started, then it's a shitty intro to the character. Now, Inspector Gadget, played by a miscasted Matthew Broderick, who suffers an accident at the beginning of the film, pretty much ripping off RoboCop, then befriends Dr. Brenna Bradford as this robot surgeon, who repairs him so he can defeat the villain Dr. Claw, who is fucking lame, shows his face, and literally just comes off as just Prince Charming with a robot hand. Because he's played by the actor who voices Prince Charming. And the two fall in love. This movie was filmed in Pennsylvania and Los Angeles. In the Castlemaine Tower of Pittsburgh's PVG Place played a central role. And the film was distributed by Disney and was produced by Corleone Pictures. The film would be released after the film was shot and marketed. It was released into theaters on July 23rd, 1999. And keep in mind, guys, 1999 was an awesome year for movies, like you already know. Sadly, this was not one of them. This was one of the shitty stuff that came out that year. One of the rare shitty movies that came out that year. It was and this was the last film Corleone Pictures did before Spyglass Entertainment was their new name. And the movie, when it came out, got backlash from critics and fans of the cartoon for good reason. I mean, there was praise. Apparently, some critics praised the acting. Personally, I don't think there was really any good performances in this movie. Matthew Broderick just there to embarrass himself for 78 minutes. Dr. Claw's a shitty villain. Just comes off as just being Prince Charming with a robot hand. But they hate the screenplay. They hate the effects. Yeah, the effects look like dog shit. The editing, because the editing sucks. The humor, because it's not funny. In fact, it's cringy as fuck. And the lack of faithfulness to the source material. Especially with Dr. Claw showing his face. Because Dr. Claw's not supposed to show his face at all. And remember, and he has a pet cat. Where the fuck is his pet cat that he has throughout his entire scenes in every episode? and the studio lost $30 million on this feature. But for some weird reason, because it made $134 million on a $90 million budget, I guess Disney thought, well, we surpassed our $90 million budget, so I guess it's somewhat profitable enough for a direct-to-video movie. So it got a direct-to-video follow-up in 2003. That might as well be called a reboot because it has nothing to do with the first film. And nobody came back for the sequel, and I'm not surprised. They probably thought the first one was dog shit enough. They didn't want to play the roles again. Yeah. So yeah. This is one of Xiao Leon's most hated movies of all time, and I don't blame him for that. This whole entire movie, it's a leaky piss on the cartoon. It murdered Matthew Broderick's career. And the Xiao Leon's title is a better title for this movie because it should be called Matthew Broderick Humiliates Himself for 78 Minutes. Because that's all this whole movie is. And even humiliates himself as soon as the movie starts in the opening scene that literally references speed. Okay, imagine if you were 3 years old when you saw this movie and that opening scene that references speed with the dream of the speeding bus. Imagine, of course, because that movie's not a kid's movie that's rated R, you don't know what the fuck that movie is. Imagine being that. Or if you were old enough to see the movie back then, but you haven't, so you probably wouldn't know much about that. Like, they literally reference movies that aren't for kids in this. They reference rated R shit in this movie, actually. A lot of rated R movies. Now, when it comes to Matthew Broderick, and I think he's pretty good as an actor in films like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Lion King, and controversial pick Godzilla in 1998, but he's also had some really shitty roles, like Deck the Halls, that shit Christmas movie he did with Danny DeVito that sucked donkey dick, and this. Like, after this movie, the guy's career just never recovered. Started a bunch of flops after doing this. Some could argue Godzilla in 1998 already did that, but to be fair, the problem with Godzilla in 1998 is it just should not have been called Godzilla. It should have been called something else. That was its problem. And why it got a lot of hate is because it's not really a Godzilla film, and it should have not been a Godzilla film. That was the problem it had. I don't think it was really any of the actors. This film, for me, is what did the trick. Like, first thing, like, in the movie, like, apparently the cartoon, Inspector Gadget's not really that smart. He's kind of a bit of a dumbass at times, but in the film, somehow, this guy is apparently so smart. Like, this one, he solves the mystery by himself. But in the cartoon, like, literally, the cartoon, he got help from Penny, Brain, and the book. And if Gadget solved it, apparently it was an accident. And this one, he's apparently such a complete detective, but apparently he was so dumb in the cartoon. And that's how people found the humor in it. Let's make him too much of a smartass and knows everything. Like, the other thing that's terrible about the movie was that this was apparently a feature film, and if you were going to make an Inspector Gadget film, try how about watching the cartoon? Pick somebody that's familiar with the cartoon. Clearly, did the director of this movie even watch the cartoon or something? The film felt too serious, it barely felt comedic at all. And too much of a plot, and a plot that wasn't even funny at all. And it's like, and Dr. Claw in this one, apparently Dr. Claw's intimidating in the cartoon. This one, his portrayal's fucking pathetic. Like, I'm definitely familiar with Dr. Claw. He's not supposed to show his face, and he shows his face in this movie. I don't know why. Throughout the whole movie, and of course, even Rupert Everett is miscasted as the guy. It just makes the villain come off as a complete joke. Like, here's the thing though. You never know how people never knew how Inspector Gadget got his gadgets. Or why Dr. Claw hated Inspector Gadget. or what Claw looks like. This movie shows all of that. Like ripping off RoboCop, even. No, I know, Gadget doesn't get shot to pieces by Clarence Boddicker, although, to be fair, I wish this version of Inspector Gadget got shot by Clarence Boddicker, that'd be a better ending. I wish Clarence Boddicker showed up and actually shot this annoying protagonist to pieces. Instead. I think that would have been a way better finale to the whole movie. It would save us from 7-8 minutes of this garbage. Like, how does this start off? Well, apparently, Inspector Gadget has a name. It's John Brown in this movie. He lives in Ohio with his niece Penny and her pet beagle Brain. He has many dreams of becoming a hero police officer, with the movie starts off with a bus speeding all the way out, and this guy already comes off as a douchebag in this dream by strolling like he's some cool little awesome badass, and apparently loved by everybody in this dream, and thinking he's so cool at showing off. The bus speeds, and he somehow does a shit move to save these kids from getting hit. And of course, just manages to do the shit move to save the bus from speeding further. This is a reference to fucking Speed, which is a better movie than this, because that's about a speeding bus that has to be stopped. Can you imagine if that was how Speed ended? And besides, Speed's not even a movie for kids, so why the fuck are we referencing it in a kids movie? I don't know that. I don't know why. He saves the bus, and then when he's kissing the girls that praising him, it turns out he's kissing Brain. So there's the first scene of Matthew already humiliating himself, where it's revealed to be he's kissing the mouth of his dog when he wakes up. Ha, how funny is that? That's so funny. It turns out he works as a security guard for the robotics laboratory. The artist Bradford and his daughter Brenda are designing this lifelike robotic foot as part of the Gadget program to add android officers to the police department. Then Skolex's Tycoon uses this robot tank to break into the Bradford laboratory and steals the foot to build this army of androids from its technology, and assassinates Artemis in the process. Then Brown chases after Skolex's limousine in the hatchback, but then Brown's car gets flipped over because of an oil slick from Skolex's limo, and so both vehicles crash in a billboard. Brown gets blown up in his upside-down car by a dynamic stick disguised as a cigar, and he gets left to die. Then a bowling ball gets launched by the blast from the destroyed car, lands in a limo, crushes Skolex's left hand. So guess what? There's how Skolex himself became Dr. Claw, because he lost his hand from a fucking bowling ball. Get it? If you're a fan of that show, there's Dr. Claw's origin. A fucking bowling ball broke his hand. That could probably heal in a few weeks or a few months if it wears a cast on it. No. Because this movie's too stupid to think that. Oh my god. And his associate Kramer, who I think one of Dr. Claw's associates is played by Andy Dick. Yeah. Of course that guy that I don't like seeing in movies because I think Andy Dick is a creep. So screw him. That's how our movie starts off. A shit dream sequence. The guy, this character's already unlikable because he obsesses over being his hero cop, and clearly I can see why you're not a hero cop is because you're bad at being a security guard, and literally get injured quick when you try to stop a crime, which your partner tells you not to do, and you ignore her. Oh my god. This is already off to a horrible start. It's terrible, there's barely any good things about this movie because they're overshadowed by all the bad moments. There's barely a story because the movie goes by too quick to even progress any kind of story. Just a bunch of horribly edited scenes with stupid slapstick and horrible acting, especially from actors that actually can be kind of good in other movies. You have idiot transitions between scenes that are supposed to be funny, but are just pointless. And of course, and Claw's hand, when it gets crushed, it's not even anywhere near where the bowling ball lands, so you could tell it's a behind-the-scenes little last-minute add-on. And the goof that Gadget is covered in wires when he leaves the operating room, that's not hidden well at all. It's just fired a rocket from his foot and shot over the room. That's why he's all covered in wires. And the little CGI inserts between scenes, like, really. It's like they barely try to write a script to make a good picture if they're trying to make a live-action movie out of this. And even, like, there's a dumbass fourth wall break where the talking car Inspector Gadget has. Literally, come on, man, this is a Disney movie. Yeah, of course, we all know this is a Disney movie. Why do we need to be told that shit? Then, of course, after Brown is injured and somehow still alive, I don't know why, Brandon decides to make Brown the first test subject for the Gadget program, so she builds an array of gadgets into his body and gives the eyes Inspector Gadget, and a control chip as his power supply. Then Brandon and the Guru give Brown his orientation on using his new gadgets. But it goes awry when the Guru is hospitalized by a pinch in the testicles caused by Brown. Then he gets helped by the Gadget Mobile, this car with this annoying stereotype AI that never shuts up. And despite struggling with his new gadgets, Brown somehow manages to master them very well without any training whatsoever, and stops two criminals trying to rob a car. Like, literally, this is literally almost the same fucking concept as RoboCop. Except, there's the thing, I'd rather watch RoboCop over this, because RoboCop is actually good. Unlike this movie. RoboCop didn't have shitty CGI, characters humiliating themselves, good action, good lines, good acting, and good direction. This film, none of that. Not one bit of it at all. So next day at a charity ball, Skolex Dr. Claw approaches Brenda. Apparently they knew each other at Harvard, and says, hey, you want to come work for me at my old laboratory? Brenda's like, okay, I'll come work for you at your old laboratory. But Skolex plans to steal her technological ideas and designs. Clearly it's a trick, like, now that she'll work for me, I can steal all her shit. Because I'm such a boring villain, I can't come up with a cool plan to be cool at all. So, the police chief is not impressed with Brown at all, so he assigns him to do some assignments like go rescue this cat and go do some maniacal things, instead of investigate Artemis's murder. And so Brown's like, what? I don't want to be taken seriously. I don't want to be doing this rescue shit. Cody had a cool case. And Chief's like, well, what? Then get out of my office and get out of the station. So, like, this guy, with these new gadgets, this guy is still a fucking prick. Here's the thing. This Inspector Gadget character, there's nothing sympathetic about him. There's nothing heroic about him. Like, seriously, why the fuck should I give a shit if he becomes a hero cop or not? This whole movie, he just comes off as a fucking douchebag. A narcissistic, entitled prick. That only gives a shit about fame. So why the fuck should I give a shit if he wins or not? So Brown begins investigating behind the chief's back, finds a piece of scrap metal that connects to Skolex with Penny's help, who Penny looks like Penny literally barely looks like her cartoon appearance at all. And the whole law enforcement, whole professional hurt in the line of duty, and rebuild a cyber like better individual, like that's been done to death in other films too, like Joe 90, $6 Million Man. I feel like it was done best in RoboCop, but those are other movies that do the plot too. Like this film, this difference is though, this film has no plot. Downey Coleman is mildly bearable, like seriously. This is like around the time, like, I'm surprised how they got Broderick to star in this. This guy starred in stuff like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This guy starred in stuff like Project X. This guy starred in stuff like The Lion King, the best animated Disney movie of all time that was also from Disney. And of course, I know people disagree with me on this. Godzilla 1998. I liked him in that movie. And I liked him in Election. But sadly, no one went and saw Election, but they thought this was better. They thought this would be a better idea to go see. And, well, when it comes to Jolie Fisher, I mean, man, I've never heard of this actress. I've never seen her in much other stuff, but her performance was not memorable. There's just nothing to say. I can't really think of anything because her performance was just forgettable. The production history. I think, there were quite a few other choices when they were doing this movie. Originally, the Farrelly brothers were going to do it. And now, I'm not sure how I feel about that idea because of their constant gross-out humor, so I don't think that would have been smart to have them do this project. They probably would have made it too vulgar. Granted, this movie's a little vulgar as well, but I don't think their humor would have been better. But the thing is, they wanted Jim Carrey for the role. And you know what? Instead of Matthew Broderick, I don't know why they could have got Jim Carrey to play this character. Because literally, this whole movie, Matthew Broderick just comes off as badly thinking he could be Jim Carrey when he's not. Dude, you're not Jim Carrey at all. You are so not. You may be in comedy films, but dude, you are not Jim. You're nothing like Jim. Just stop. Throughout this whole movie, that's what I want to say. Should have got Jim Carrey would have played this character. Jim Carrey would have done a better job with this character. A lot, so I wish he played this character instead. He probably would have made the character much more enjoyable. Maybe a little more tolerable. Maybe the movie would have been still good, but I feel like he would have did a better job in the role. It would have been a much better choice. Originally, Spielberg also wanted to do it. Wow! You could have had Steven Spielberg direct this. The guy who helped make Casper from 1995. You could have had a pretty decent cartoon adaptation. If this guy did it, he probably would have actually did a decent job with it. No, and I wanted to have Chevy Chase or Steve Martin, who they probably would have did a much more decent job. But no, we can't get either of those people, so instead we got literally David Kellogg to direct this instead, and clearly didn't watch the cartoon. And this is an insult to the fans and the cartoon, but anyway, so Skull X Dr. Claw uses Brenda's research because, remember, he had to steal it because he thinks he's such a great villain when he sucks at being a villain. He builds his own android. It's this evil version of Inspector Gadget called Robo Gadget. Hey, Robo Gadget, I need you to be an evil version of this Inspector Gadget character and cause mayhem so Inspector Gadget will be arrested. Ha 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 ha. And sends him out to rampage. He sees this kid. Hey, Gadget, can I get an interview with you? No. Boo! It just scares him off. So he goes around across Riverton to frame Inspector Gadget, who infiltrates Skullx's lab to recover the foot, but he gets caught deactivated when Skullx breaks his chip. Then Skullx meets Sykes, dumps Brown in a junkyard, is tasked to dispose of the foot. Then Brown encounters a robotic doppelganger, Robo Brenda, confirms Skullx has stole the foot and murdered her father. So Brenda, Penny, Brain, and the Gadget Mobile, the annoying, shitty talking stereotype AI car that I wish would get blown up because it never shuts up, track Brown to a junkyard, and a kiss from Brenda awakens him. God damn it, man. This guy gets deactivated. And how he gets revived? A fucking kiss. A kiss from a girlfriend that had no romantic chemistry with him, no development. Just, hey, I'm in love with you. Okay. There's no development in any of this fucking crap. My God, this movie is just fucking stupid. With every dumbass scene it tries to give us. And it proves Brown's human willpower can control his new body without the chip. Okay, good, it hit my bed, thank God. At least it didn't hit the wall. Thank God it just hit my bed, guys. Thank God, if it hit my wall, then I would be so fucked. If that hit my wall, thank God that did not hit the wall. I was not even trying to aim at the wall, I swear to God. Brown's human willpower. Apparently that can control Inspector fucking Gadget. Excuse me for just 1 minute. What the fuck is this? The fucking plot is that? Who the fuck came up with that shit? This film moves fucking fast, too fucking quickly. The action, it's not cool, it's just manic, it's choppy, it's inconsistent, the situations happen abruptly to be taken seriously, ends way too quick, there's no payoff at all. And the second major issue, the writing, some of the worst writing for a children's flick, like, it's not for immature people at all in the slightest. Like, no, it's not for because of how immature the movie itself is. Like, the stretch of desperation of this film has no problem letting loose every possible thing, resorting to just jointed, long credit cookies at the end of the picture. So you, basically, the movie barely has an ending. There was not even a single laugh out of me at all. Like, nothing in this movie's funny. It's like they just tried to make the movie, hey, how should we call this movie? Hey, you know that cartoon Inspector Gadget? Let's slap Inspector Gadget on the title so people will go see the movie and will make us money. Yeah, great idea. There, Inspector Gadget. Hey, everybody, an Inspector Gadget movie is coming out. You want to see how it all started? There you go. There you go. Terrible script, shitty effects. Like, this is 90s, and even I've seen 90s films that have better effects than this fucking movie. Ugh. And instead of seeing excitement, this is what you get. What? Movie's over? That was a quick nap. More like the booze and the snores. Instead, besides, Inspector Gadget and his cartoon barely did much of the work. Most of the work was done by Penny and Brain. Like, they were the ones that really did most of the work, and they helped Inspector Gadget, because Gadget sometimes was a bit of a fool in the cartoons. Most of the time in this movie, they don't do shit. You could just cut them fucking out of the movie, and you would miss nothing. And of course, like, Brain doesn't just there to be a pet. Chief Quimby just there to be a jerk. There's like no, they don't even try to have any suspense or captivating moments, or even like during the scenes where our douchebag John Brown realizes he becomes this knockoff, shitty CGI knockoff of RoboCop during any of the investigation scenes, like, because they have the corny, childish, overzealous acting characters. This film, like, whatever, like, we're thankfully on to the finale of this thankfully short as hell movie. If this was a longer movie, it'd probably be even shittier. So, Brown drops off Penny and Brain at home, and so him and Brenda go after Dr. Claw, our shitty villain, and Robo-Gadget's limo. So, Brown and Robo-Gadget are evil Broderick and are incompetent, poorly acted Broderick. Remove the latter's head, then removes the latter's head, tosses it into the river, and evil Broderick's body runs off with no head. Then Brenda crashes the annoying, shitty, never shut the fuck up Gadget mobile into Skullx's limo. And of course, Dr. Claw, aka Skullx, gets taken prisoner. Dr. Claw tries to escape in a helicopter, but then Gadget appears using his helicopter hat to intercept. Dr. Claw destroys it. Brown is stuck hanging onto the landing skis. And Brown deconstructs a pen in his finger. And of course remembers the goal visualizing advice for the guru. Launches the metal ink chamber. And it goes bouncing around until it hits a button on Dr. Claw's shitty fucking claw. Causes it to clamp shut, break the joystick of the helicopter. Then Brenda leaps out of the helicopter onto Inspector Gadget's back. And they fall down the side of the skyscraper. And a parasol is used to land safely. Claw's Claw parachutes down, but he lands in the Gadget Mobile, gets captured by the annoying never shut the fuck up Gadget Mobile, and the police then arrive to arrest Inspector Gadget because of Robo Gadget's crimes. But Penny appears, for who did shit the whole finale, with this repetitive and reformed Sykes that apparently she managed to talk into reforming himself, and apparently he started doing that without much scenes. So that makes no fucking sense. And confesses his boss's crimes to police. And so, Quimby gets acknowledged as a member of the police force. And Brown then departs with the Brenda love interest he did nothing to deserve. And Penny, while Dr. Claw says, "Inspector Gadget, I will have my revenge and I will break out of jail." No, because your version doesn't come back in the sequel at all. Or the direct-to-video reboot, because it's barely even a sequel at all. So we'll never see you blame boring villain self again. So yeah, but it ends with Gadget and Brenda beginning this relationship that was not earned, not deserved, and the shitty annoying Gadget Mobile still alive. And they drive off. They go after this red car. Thankfully, in only 78 minutes, this embarrassment is over. Brown gets the girl he did nothing to deserve. Nor did he even deserve to be part of the police force at all either, because he didn't do fucking heroic shit at all. Because there's no development in this excuse of a story. Of an origin. And of course, it's actually not the end, because guess what? The end credits. There's more scenes you have to fucking sit through. The ending still goes on in the credits, where there's cutaway clips of what the characters have moved on to after catching our shitty Claw, or Dr. Shit Claw, as he should be called. Or apparently, Penny then gives Brain this device that has him start talking. And, Brown's now part of the police force. No, I feel like Brown should be fired for being an incompetent idiot who didn't really do anything to deserve this happy ending at all. And plus wasn't even that likable of a character to begin with, especially with a bad performance from Broderick, who was miscasted as the character. And of course, we have to hear more of the annoying AI thing from the Gadget Mobile. Say, "Thank you for watching the movie. I hope y'all liked it." No, we didn't. I fucking hated it. If I was in a theater, if I did see this in a theater at this age, I would have thrown popcorn at the fucking screen. And booed. On my way out. And yelled, "Fuck this movie." But there'd probably be kids in the theater, so I wouldn't. But I'm pretty sure even a lot of other people would probably agree with me on hating this movie too. Hell, this movie even years later, is still not liked by anybody to this day. Not a single person likes this film. Not a single fan of the cartoon likes this film. They even still think it is shit today. There are some cartoon film adaptations that have gotten better received over time. Not this, though. This still gets the hate it fucking deserves. And for good reason. Does the movie have good qualities? The only stuff I like in this is the score, and I will admit, I do like the theme song. Inspector Gadget. That was the part of Inspector Gadget I was the most familiar with the theme song. I think the theme song is pretty catchy. I'll admit, it's actually kind of cool and pretty catchy to listen to. And Dr. Claw's claw kind of looks kind of good, I guess, even though he's such a shitty villain. That's hard to take him seriously. And I guess it's nice to see Mr. T for one scene, but other than those, fuck this movie. I hope this Inspector Gadget copy gets smashed, gets burned, found in any thrift stores, when it gets found in thrift stores like it deserves, or ripped apart by dogs, even as chew toys, and then thrown in the garbage and burned in the incinerator like in Toy Story 3 like it deserves. So yeah, fuck Inspector Gadget. And thank God I don't have to watch this fucking film again. So in the end, Inspector Gadget, it's nothing but horseshit, and you can destroy this movie. Never let your kids grow up watching this as their intro to Inspector Gadget at all. Please. Anyways, guys, that's it for my epic rant on Inspector Gadget. And if we're going to hear Inspector Gadget, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you love the cartoon, then don't even think about going near this shitty excuse of a movie, because it does nothing but piss on the cartoon and makes it look dumb. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Inspector Gadget, I'm going to give Inspector Gadget a 0 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. I finished off, and of course, Shadow Leon, I've now ranted on Inspector Gadget. Finally happened after so long waiting to destroy this. Till then, guys, that will be it for this epic rant. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.